When booking your holiday, I would try and book it as a package holiday if possible. This will offer a lot more consumer protection if anything does go wrong and you do need to bring a claim. But the package can also mean that it's all included, so you've got your flights, your accommodation and your transportation usually all included in one go. It also means that you might have a designated rep at your hotel as well, so if anything does happen, you've got somebody that you can speak to get advice from, generally, or if an accident does occur, somebody that you can go to try and get assistance from. I'd also recommend taking out travel insurance. Travel insurance is absolutely vital. It's minimal cost, but it does protect you in a great way. So they can provide advice whilst you're going abroad. They can cover the cost of any medical treatment as well if you do happen to have an accident. Speak to them first though, because there may be some peculiarities as to which medical institutions you can go to and which you can't. They can also potentially cover you if you're unable to fly for any reason. And they may also be able to help you with any legal expenses. So if you do look to bring a claim, you might be entitled to keep 100% of your damages as opposed to having a success fee deducted. I would also recommend looking at the UK Global Health Insurance Card. This replaces the European Health Insurance Card and gives you access to medical treatment in European countries and some other countries as well. The cover that it provides is that it entitles you to healthcare as a resident of that country. So for example, if a resident of the country would have to pay £50 as an excess, but then it entitles them to free healthcare for however much they need it for, then you would be entitled to the same. You'd have to pay the £50 up front, and then you'd be entitled to the medical care as well. That does come with restrictions because it's only for emergency care, and this is defined as being care that can't wait until you're back in the UK. I would definitely recommend taking it out as it provides cover for you for 5 years. It's a quick online form for you to complete, it's free, and you can also include your family in the application form as well. I'd also recommend checking your passport to make sure it's in date. There are some countries that require you to have 6 months left on your passport before it expires. So double check your passport and triple check the expiry date. I'd also recommend getting up to date on any visas or jabs that you may need as well for the particular country that you're going to. And finally, I would recommend checking the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office for any risky countries that you may be going to, just to see what their advice is before travelling. So in the airport, it would be a different type of case. There's a process called embarkation, which is usually around the time of the security check-in. Once you've entered embarkation, you then fall under the Montreal Convention, and this covers any sorts of claims like baggage loss claims. It also covers accidents on the way to the flight. So if you have an accident on the shuttle bus or in the walkway, then that can be covered. Or whilst you're on the flight, things like baggage falling from the overhead compartment, or air stewards dropping hot drinks on you, or food being spilt on you, anything like that would be covered under the Montreal Convention. It's a strict liability regime, which means that you don't have to prove negligence, making it easier to claim. There is, however, only a 2-year limitation period, which means you only have 2 years to bring your claim from the date of your accident. So you need to be contacting a solicitor as soon as possible to help you bring your claim in time. Absolutely. So it doesn't matter whether it's by shuttle bus, taxi, coach, minibus, anything like that, a claim can be made. It will be different depending on the circumstances, which will have to be investigated. So for example, driver versus passenger, or if you're on a package holiday compared to a non-package holiday. But in any scenario, it is very likely that you'd be able to bring a claim. So I would suggest reporting it to the hotel and to the rep. Let them know what's happened, let them know how you're injured. If they suggest going to hospital or a medical centre, if you feel that you need to go, then obviously you should. But before you do so, please check in with your travel insurer and speak to them. Tell them about the accident and what's happened, and ask them for advice in terms of where to go for medical attention. There are some hospitals, for example, some private hospitals that might not be covered under your travel insurance policy, and therefore you want to make sure you're going to the correct institution so that you're not landed with a massive medical bill at the end of it that your travel insurer are not going to cover. So definitely report it to the hotel, report it to your travel insurer as well. If you can get a copy of the logbook and the accident report, ask them to complete one and ask for a copy of it as well, and make sure you come back with it. Take pictures of the accident location. If there was a defect, for example, maybe take a picture of the defects or the area surrounding the hotel. I would also suggest making a formal complaint, whether that's whilst on your holiday or upon your return, making a formal complaint, setting out exactly what happened in terms of your accident and the losses that you suffered as a result, whether you couldn't enjoy the rest of your holiday, couldn't go into the sea, couldn't go into the swimming pool, couldn't use the facilities as much, couldn't go on excursions. Keep receipts as well for anything that you have to pay out for, so for any sort of medication. If you do lose out on excursions that you've paid for, keep the receipt for those. That might be something that we can claim back. Also take details of any witnesses as well, so any independent witnesses that may have seen the accident. If you can get their contact details, name, telephone number, maybe even address, that'll be really crucial evidence to help support any claim that you're looking to bring. So your travel insurer can recommend hospitals for you to go to, and in a lot of foreign countries there's a difference between private hospitals and public hospitals. Public hospitals are usually run and funded by the government, whereas private hospitals are usually run and funded by individuals or organisations. What we believe happens is that some hotels will opt to send you to private hospitals who will put a surcharge on the medical care that they give you, knowing that travel insurance will be paying out for it, and therefore their costs go increasingly high. And in those circumstances, travel insurers may refuse to pay out and may have a list of hospitals that they would rather you not go to. So it's always really important to check in with your travel insurers to make sure that they can advise you on any hospitals to go to that are covered within your policy, so that you're not left with a massive bill at the end. Yeah, claims for those can be made. The type of claim may change slightly, but I would reiterate the type of evidence that you need. So make sure you're taking photographs, make sure you're making a report if possible. So for example, if you're in a restaurant or a bar where the accident occurs, make a complaint to them and report your accident. Again, report it to your travel insurer as well. Seek medical treatment if you need to, but again, speak to your travel insurer and make sure that the institution that you're going to is the right institution. Get details of any independent witnesses as well to help with any claim that you're looking to bring.